Darth Maul is the baddest dude in the galaxy, like Samuel L. Jackson bad. Ever since I was a little kid, just the dual lightsabers just coming out, duel of fates against Obi-Wan Qui-Gon, and just seeing the first Jedi die was probably one of the most impactful points of my life. 100%. Ever since then, I have loved Darth Maul. So we've got a deck tech for the main guy himself in our Knight Siblings deck. Let's jump in. How's it going, folks? Welcome back to the channel. And like I said, we are bringing back some Star Wars Unlimited Twin Suns deck techs. I've always loved Star Wars, and this is kind of what the channel started with. And then we got into Marvel Snap, and then we're going to kind of split everything and do both. So without further ado, let's get into the Knight family deck tech. If you want to follow along, the full deck list is down below, and let's get started with Darth Maul, our Sith revealed leader, as well as Morgan Elspeth. So starting off with Darth Maul, for his action, you are going to use the Force and deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a different unit. Good to know that it can also hit your unit because you have to do 2 different units. Luckily, we are in Twin Suns. We have 3 other players. Chances are we are going to be able to use this effect effectively. Yes. What I like about Darth Maul is he's coming down with 6 resources. He's going to be a 5/6 when he flips. And then you can start pinging off shield tokens. So if your opponents that you are attacking into do have units with shield tokens on them, you can ping those off real quick, just doing the 1 damage, and then going in and attacking those guys, or even attacking the base, depending on what you want to do. But no matter what, you can get off those shield tokens. And for our second leader, we're going with Morgan Elspeth. For her action, choose a friendly unit that attacked this phase. Play a unit from your hand that shares a keyword with the chosen unit. It costs 1 less. Starting off, we are going to be doing a few different sub packages within this deck to kind of get our ramp engine going a little bit quicker. And then for our base, we are choosing the Night Sister layer. See what we're doing here? We're doing some Night stuff. Darth Maul is technically a Night brother of Dathomir, and Morgan Elspeth is, well, a Night Sister of Dathomir. And we have the Night Sister's layer. See, very on theme. And with the Night Sister's layer, when a friendly Force unit attacks, the Force is with you, you get a Force token. So we are doing a lot of Force things with this deck, as well as ramping up with the Morgan Elspeth. So starting off with our kind of Night Sister package, we have a few cards, starting with Old Daka. I really like this card in the deck as we kind of put out these sub packages. Twin Suns being what it is, not that many sets yet. You really need to have these kind of sub packages within your Twin Suns decks because we haven't fully fleshed out kind of one single archetype yet with a lot of cards. So being able to ramp in some of these, as you know, Morgan Elspeth is a knight. So if you attack with Morgan Elspeth, you can then do that later. Or if we get out our Mirren, which is an early play, 3/2, 3/2/5 on attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, deal 2 damage to a unit, kind of a little ping damage. But then we can play our Old Daka on 4. See, we got back there. As we can attack with the Mirren and then play the Old Daka early. And then when played, you may defeat a friendly knight unit not named Old Daka. Then you can play that unit from your discard pile for free. So what you really want to kind of combine this with are cards like Talzin's Assassin. When played, you may use the Force, which we should have a lot of, as we're probably going to attack, get the Force, and then do the Morgan Elspeth thing. You may use the Force, and if you do, give a unit -3/-3 for this phase, probably enough to get rid of some of your opponent's smaller units. And it doesn't say what battlefield they need to be in. They can be in space, they can be on the ground. So if you got something a little bit pesky that's either almost dying or is only 3 toughness, you can get that out and then do it again with the Old Daka. We also really like Asajj Ventress in this deck, kind of the poster child for Night Sisters. When played on attack, give another friendly Force unit +2/+0 for this phase. So you can do that twice and then attack next turn. So if you have a few units that you want to attack with, you can drop in that Asajj Ventress Or if you've already dropped in the Asajj Ventress, you can drop in the old Daka and then get that proc again, and then attack with the Asajj Ventress. A few nice little combos there, all of which we are going to be able to ramp into because they all have the Force keyword. So even if you didn't have the Force keyword, we have the Knight keyword, but they do all have Force. So Darth Maul is a Force Sith, Morgan Elspeth is a Force Imperial Knight, so that we are getting everything. Usually the Force keyword is going to be getting us that ramp with Elspeth. The majority of all of our units do have the Force, but also Imperial. So our Imperial is our next package. And what this kind of helps us out with is getting into space. A lot of our space units are Imperials, but once we get one space unit down, we want to ramp a little bit more, then we can use just the vehicle keyword and get that ramping off. The TIE LN Fighter, we're going to be able to play for free if we want to get that in after we attack with Morgan Elspeth or another Imperial unit. That way we can get that down for free and then ramp into one of our other space units that we want. Within the Imperial subclass, we also have our Super Laser Technician, which is going to give us an extra resource, a little bit of ramp. We do have a small ramp package in this deck as well. Not going to go over it, but you can find those in the deck list. Let me know if I did miss any fun, kind of ramp synergies or even combos as we're going through the deck. As you know, I have not been playing this game for probably 2 years and just jumping back into it. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what's going on in the game and things I may have missed and your deck building techniques. Continuing, we do have the Grand Inquisitor. So within our Imperial package, we also have an Inquisitor package. We are only missing one Inquisitor, which I think is the second sister, third sister, fifth sister, one of the sisters, which is in yellow. So we are not playing her, but we do have all the rest of the Inquisitors as well as the Inquisitor ship. Scythe, Intimidating Silhouette. So on attack, you may give another friendly Inquisitor +2/+0 for this phase. Not necessarily the most used thing you're going to do in here, but you do get a space and you can make that Grand Inquisitor and all of your other Inquisitors a little bit stronger. It is hidden, so it cannot be attacked. On the first turn it comes in, and you also have that raid. And then we have Darth Vader, a 6/5/6. When played, give a shield token to a friendly unit and to an enemy unit. Defeat an enemy unit with a shield token on it. So that's just kind of nice utility. And that is every single attack. We can get this down on 5. It does have Force. It does have Imperial. It does have Sith. So chances are we are going to be getting out our Darth Vader at least one turn early. Something else that we can do when we get the Morgan Elspeth down, we can use the action to get that initial buff and then deploy our Morgan Elspeth and then attack and get 2 off so we can play any of our 7 drops if that is how we start our turn on 5, not counting any other ramp that we might have. So some of our other 7 drops we can play are going to be, even our 6s if we want to do that, play our Savage Oppress, play our Count Dooku, play the Sun, and the Sun is going to be kind of one of our win conditions. So if we can get the Sun down, we are doing very good and really going to be ahead on power, being able to buff all of our cards because every time we attack, we are going to get the Force from our base. So while the Force is with you, each friendly unit gets +2/+0. He is also a 6/8. And that can probably close out a game for a really big swing. Talking more about the space, what I wanted to do, because it doesn't have as many space unit as ground units, I wanted to be able to build this out. So we're going to be building a lot of kind of TIE tokens. Starting with the TIE Ambush Squadron. It has Ambush. You may play it, attack an enemy unit as soon as it comes out. And then when played and defeated, create a TIE Fighter unit. Again, because we don't have as many space units, we want to be able to make more for what we're playing. The Quasar TIE Carrier. On attack, create a TIE Fighter token. to 5/7. We could probably get this down early with Morgan Elspeth, but we can get it down at least a turn early with Elspeth. It is Imperial, and again, if we do have another TIE fighter in, we're going to be able to get this down at least on 5. With the Assault Cruiser, when this unit attacks and defeats a non-unit leader, put the defeated unit in play as a resource for under your control. This is kind of just another ramp. If we get Morgan down on 6, if we needed to do some other things and then attack, like if we want to do Darth Maul and Morgan deployed on the same turn, we can actually deploy both of those, attack with, one of our Imperial units. Hopefully we have a TIE fighter in space, and we can ramp this down on turn 6 and then start getting a few more resources so that we can kind of get into more of our bigger units to start finishing out the game. We want to start finishing the game on turn 6 at the latest, so that, we're getting all of these big cards down. With the Executor, Imperial Vehicle, have both of those keywords. When played, on attack, and when defeated, create 3 TIE Fighter tokens. So we're going to kind of secretly be putting in a lot of TIE Fighter tokens in space so that we can finish the game. Use the sun while the force is with us, which we will have as soon as we attack. Each friendly unit gets +2, so we are going to be kind of devastating one person. We want to focus down on that one person, hoping that we have the most life. If not, we can kind of put around some of the other damage that we have and then have the most life at the end of that turn. So with all of these attacks, we will be getting the force a lot. And how are we going to use it? Hello, sir. I'm trying to do a video. I love you so much. I love you. I know. You want to be part of everything, just like your brother. Yep. Come on. We want to be using the Force. I can't pronounce this. Dagoyan Masters, who I've never heard of before, so I need to get into some more lore. I guess with the New Republic lore, which I actually haven't read a lot of, right back here. I do really like the New Republic lore. The Light of the Jedi was really good. That kind of whole series with the Citadel and all that, and the Nihil. Really like that. Suggest reading them. But when it's played and defeated, you may use the Force. If you do, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Force unit. We have a lot of those in this deck. Reveal it, draw it, and put the other cards on the bottom. So there are a few. It's kind of a sub package of being able to draw through your Force units, through your units in general, in order to kind of get through your deck and find some of these bigger pieces that you want to either close out the game or use for utility. Star Wars Unlimited, there's not really any tutors. There's the one tutor, I think it's the Force is with you. I've got it in the deck, and it is Search Your Feelings. So we do have Search Your Feelings in this deck, which is really our only tutor to find one card. You can use that for, whatever you want to do. It's pretty much 2 copies of any card you want. But we do have these cards in here, being able to search through our deck for something that we want. With the Neiman Strike, we're going to attack with a Force unit. Again, we have a lot of those. If it's exhausted. So if you attack with your Darth Maul, you can attack with it again and get +1. Can't do any bases, but it can attack other units on the battlefield. We also have the unit Darth Maul, Revenge at Last, and it can attack 2 units instead of 1. So if we do have that down with this combo, we can probably take out a couple of units with that 5/6 body. And the Father. So this is kind of more of the end game, being able to kind of stack some of these Force abilities. He is an 8-drop, which we might be able to get out on 6. And when you use the Force, you may deal 1 damage to this unit. If you do, the Force is with you. So the Father is just going to sit there, and then you don't have to necessarily attack, but you can use some of these Force abilities to either clear out the board with some of our events, some of our burns, some of our attacks if we need to, but also being able to get like the Savage Oppress outs. So maybe we attacked, use the Force, we don't have it, use the Father, and then we're playing Savage Oppress, who is only a 6-drop 9/6. But when played and defeated, you may use the Force. If you don't, deal 9 damage to your base. So we want to have the Force to play Savage Oppress, drop this big body, and really start, oppressing our enemies space. Really get in there in your face and then swing with the sun. We want to have the sun out. That's when you know that you are ready to go. So you probably really want to search for the sun. You want to dig through the sun. He's a force, so you can get to him pretty easy. And then to finish the game, there's a few different options. We want planetary evasion. Exploit 3, it is a 12 drop, but with that exploit 3, exploit is a keyword ability that allows players to reduce the cost of a card by defeating a specified number of friendly units, and you use their resource costs to make planetary invasion cheaper. Use what you will, but what we want to do is have either swing with some of our big units already and then exploit something else that we are not going to attack with this turn, maybe something that has already also been used. We want to use this to end our turn and possibly even end the game. Then we're going to ready 3 units. Each of those units get +1/+0 and gain overwhelm. So even if they do have Sentinel, we can get through with some of those big bodies. If we also have the sun on board, they're going to get even bigger. As soon as we attack, we get the force. They all get +2/+0 and can probably end a game right there. And then also Supreme Leader Snoke. Each enemy non-leader unit gets -2/-2. So with that overwhelm, we are going to be able to get more damage into the base, possibly even just defeat a lot of smaller units, maybe a lot of tokens that they have out. And this is every non-leader unit. So this is space, this is on the ground, this is everywhere. And what we want to do, use the force, ping things, get through, and then kind of hold a little bit for a big swing. Again, we're kind of going in with that secret space play. We're getting in those large capital ships. And then also a great card is Scramble Fighters. We're going to create 8 TIE Fighter tokens and ready them. They can't attack bases for this phase, but we can hold them and then play that sun and then attack with all of those TIE Fighters on the next turn into bases or even ping things off. Nice little combos throughout, being able to kind of spread out kind of wide, but also hold off. Very scary. And like I said, this is kind of a precon, if you will, for this deck. As we get more cards, you can kind of focus on one theme more than the other. If you want to focus more on the space, you can focus more on the space. If you want to focus more on the Imperial side of things, you can focus more on the Imperial side of things. Darth Maul isn't necessarily the most needed part of this deck as a leader, but having that kind of aggression, that aggro, dealing that damage, getting rid of shield tokens, kind of pinging things off, I really like. I enjoy Darth Maul. Let me know how I did. Let me know if you're playing with a similar deck, and if you want to see more of this content, make sure you snap those like and subscribe buttons, and tell me what decks you want to see next. Until next time, tell me what I should say at the end of my videos.